Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It is Sunday, September 10th. And today we're giving you another piece of our interview with Chris Guillebeau. He is the author of The $100 Startup. That was a New York Times bestseller, as well as Side Hustle, The Money Tree, and now the author of Gonzo, Capitalism. And we have Chris joining us, part of the Jill on Money live subscription service for $35. You can see lots of interviews like this great one with Chris and our quarterly live webinars. All this bonus content, all for $35 for an entire year. Pretty great. In this next excerpt of our interview, Chris is going to talk a lot about what changed for him during his experiments while he was working on the book. So here is the second part of our interview with Chris Guillebeau. So where are the little pockets that you delved into where you felt like, hey, this was meaningful to me? What changed for you, Chris, in this experiment?
Yeah, great question. So the last chapter of the book, we're calling it like the New Rules of Money, which was the original title of the book before we had Gonzo Capitalism. And then I was like, well, people don't like rules. I don't like rules, so I don't want to put like rules in the title of my book. But the idea was that, a lot of these so-called financial rules or guidelines and such, especially in the personal finance world, they've just existed forever-ish, and they get repeated, they get updated, but they only get updated stylistically. Nobody actually really comes along and is like, let's change the whole system, right? To go back to your word of foundation. And so I wanted to offer some alternatives. And I thought about that for myself as well. Like, what are the personal finance rules that I have lived by? And some of them are conservative in terms of like, I want to have the retirement plan and all of that. But also I feel like people just end up doing the same thing that everybody else has done. And then they follow an average system and then they get average results. And so if that's what you want, if you want average results, you follow an average system. And so the people that have done really well, they have taken some kind of risk, right? They have started that business. They did invest in crypto at a certain time and then sold it. Some of the new rules, or, just the updated rules that I've tried to live by, like there's this whole thing about buying experiences. Like, we should buy experiences, not stuff. It's like a bumper sticker you see everywhere. It's like an Instagram meme, and people feel really guilty about buying a couch or whatever. And I think material things can make you happy. And so you should spend money on what makes you happy. You should stop trying to take it with you. That's another thing. I feel like a lot of people who get a lot of money, the purpose of their life then becomes to get more money. And, there's a lot of people who have a lot of money who are profoundly unhappy still, right? So somehow there's a disconnect. And I know that, and I say that even believing that, it's good to help people make more money. Like, that's what I do with the Side Hustle School podcast and everything else. But there has to be a greater purpose somehow. And so somehow money has to become more of a tool, something that we use for some other purpose, or something that maybe gives us security to do other things, but not the asset of itself. And so I could probably, I probably do explain this a little bit better in the book, but trying to look at what are updated personal finance rules, offering them as suggestions for people to choose and take on, as they see fit.
Okay, again, to watch the entire video interview with Chris Guillebeau, you'll have to join Jill on Money Live. So check it out. Just go to jillonmoney.com and you'll see all of the ways that you can find us and also subscribe to that service. Don't forget, you can always leave us a question, jillonmoney.com, the Contact Us button. Let us know if you'd like to come on the air. We'd love to have you. Do something nice for someone else today. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.